What's your most searched for?
No.
Yes, I'm always doing research. I don't know exactly, but I'm always doing research.
The X video site?
On the X video.
Yes.
You go look for tables.
When the X videos, I go and look for Fat Nyash.
Okay.
Fat.
Now you tell the truth now.
Yeah.
What you laughing at, John?
But,
People get lonely sometimes. I get so lonely.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the REPAT podcast. I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves. Maintain is missing because he's on vacay, but he'll be back. Alta, please.
yes, guys, my name is Alta Brand, content creator.
O'Shea Duke Jackson, Sacramento, California, African American, living in Kampala. Let's go.
Okay, now O'Shea was on the internet recently, roaming and looking around, and he landed upon this video that we're going to watch with you guys and react to.
Let me take this opportunity to warn our people publicly about the wrong practices indulged in and promoted by some of the outsiders. One of them is what they call oral sex. The mouth is for eating. The mouth is for eating. Okuria, cham. The mouth is for eating, not for sex. We know the address of sex. We know where sex is. No, we have been hearing about it, but we don't talk about it. If people are doing it, maybe let's leave them alone. Let's deal with the electricity, the roads. There's no argument. But since they insist, so we have now to come out and say, please. Maybe this is also a good opportunity, because sometimes I don't want to divert our people in some of these social, cultural issues. But this is a good time. Now, this is not sex. This is eating. Mouth is for eating. It's not for sex.
Basically, he's saying that foreigners, they introduced oral sex to Uganda.
Yes.
So he's blaming everyone that's outside of Uganda for teaching his Ugandan people what to use the mouth for. Yet the mouth is for eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before we get into what oral sex was in Africa, let's first define what oral sex is. So oral sex is the act of using your mouth to go down on somebody's genitalia. It doesn't matter in the age we live in right now, but basically that's it. Using your mouth to give pleasure to somebody's genitalia.
So let me just say this with all due respects to our leader in this particular country. I want to give him some numbers. Most presidents and economists or politicians talk about numbers, their budgets and stuff, right? I want to talk about in 1986, there were 14 million people in Uganda. In just 37 years, this country is almost 50 million, or if not more. I don't even know if accurately they. Here's the problem. If you are an African American and you're gay, and you come here and try to be gay, Africans gonna say, these people were not like this before you got here. You brought that here. So if you see somebody from the A. Bryant's Fashions Awards show, it definitely was gays everywhere. Oh, he's Ugandan, he's gay, but don't ask, don't tell. We don't really know. He never came out and said he's gay, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But if you come here as a foreigner and do that, Africans are going to say, you see what those African Americans are doing? They're bringing homosexuality to Uganda. So that clip there, I told you that if you're a foreigner and you come to most African countries, what are they going to say? You brought it there. Now, again, I was at the I'm going to say it. I'm at the A. Bryant's Fashion Awards. I didn't bring a goddamn thing there. My videographer's there. They'll tell you. That dude had that award show before I got here. And from every year that I've been here, I've heard those are there, right? Mm-hmm. So this whole idea that foreigners are bringing oral sexual pleasures to Africa.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let me tell you this, for example. Uganda blocked what? Porn sites, right?
Yeah. Are they?
You don't watch it. Alda Bryan watches all the time.
But I need to access it through VPN.
Oh wow.
So okay. You have to so let's say we're not gonna put the site, but it's X videos, right? I don't watch it. I'm a born again Christian.
Hallelujah.
Amen. But there was a night or so I tried to Storytime music. I tried to add her because I was doing some research on a podcast topic, right? I was trying to research, right? And so I was interested in looking at, for example, it's blocked. So you can't go to xvideos.com. You have to go to xvideos. I won't tell you the other opportunity, but I went and looked at the most searched websites that Ugandans watch. Mm-hmm. One of them, number one is Google, Facebook. Then in the top 5, guess what? Xvideos. Then Pornhub. This whole idea that Americans are bringing oral copulation to Uganda.
Yeah.
That we're teaching them the outside world. Because the argument is that the African people are the oldest in the world. We come from these people here in this, where you Bantu, Nilotic, or whatever, right? We come from them. So who taught the world? Like this whole idea that, people here are like crazy in Africa. Every time. Like, for example, like you go out there and see somebody on the street. This is one of the most sexual places I've ever been in my life.
Just because the women are coffee doesn't mean they're sexual.
This is one of the most sexual places I've ever been. Ever.
I can't deny.
Really? You're going with him?
Listen.
Let's not pretend. Yeah.
I lived in Poland where, in Eastern Europe where vodka is created. I would dare to say that vodka might even sell better here than in Poland or Russia. Or drinks.
What's a vodka?
Vodka's a drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to pass the mic unless I'm too long with it. But everything like partying every night, because there is a correlation with partying and this is the party capital of Africa. I've been to every city here, damn near, big cities. There is nothing like Kampala. Nothing like partying like Kampala. Women that are just, let's say, dressed, let's say, appropriately for clubs, walking down the street, you can't get to 14 million to 50 or 60 million by reading the Bible.
Exactly.
The average lady here has 6 kids. So I get that, if you want to talk about the thing that the West has on people, but the oral sex, I think that they figured that out. Whatever sex it is here.
Yeah.
It's not like they just, we're going to be real. It's some people here that pretty much can not me because I don't participate in any of that. But man, it's can I just say this real quick? And they're talking about how these women in certain parts of the country, not that I've experienced because I'm a Christian, but they have a little bit of I read this. I've experienced it.
They have what?
Water distribution.
Oh my God.
River Nile.
Have you experienced that before?
Yeah.
You have, but I thought you were a pastor.
Me or her? Because
No. So this whole water distribution thing must have been going on, but right before. what I'm saying is Ugandans are very intelligent people.
Yes.
They know how to do things that they need to get done
Yeah.
in many different ways.
Let's
Yeah, let's out of Brian told himself.
Tell us.
Tell us about the water distribution, brother.
Water distribution.
Story time music.
That water distribution has been there for a while. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
How were you when you first experienced it?
With water distribution,
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked because
You already knew.
You're not new to this.
Who taught you this?
Exactly.
Did a white person come and say,
I don't know.
Oh, the brain, this
But the
is,
water distribution is not
They're like,
with oral, with what Museveni is talking about, is it?
no. Water distribution is, I believe it's everywhere. I don't know how it is that side of this outside other countries, but here we are waterlogged. We have
Oh my
waterlogged.
you what?
We have locked.
The
The water is in plenty. But moving away from that,
Uh-huh.
I think what the president is trying to say, you see, some of these acts.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I cannot deny that they haven't been there from way back. This perception of them, these whites, or people bring them up, I think is a bit mistaken. But these acts have been there since way back, at least. But maybe they were there at a lower extent. You know, some of these acts, they start increasing with time. Like they start expanding. People adopt to them with time due to maybe what they see on social the sites, X videos, and what they see, what
You're
they
on
see
the
on
site a lot?
TV. I visit there once in a while, but
Are you there to spread the gospel?
no, me, I don't spread the gospel. But
What's your most searched for? Most searched
No,
for
no,
on
edit.
the
Let
site?
him.
my it's relates to content, obviously, because that's what I do all the time.
You want to
What
just
do you
so you
search
type
for
so you
on
type
that
in
site?
content.
I'm always doing research. I don't know exactly, but I'm always doing research.
No, but like people are specific and they search for this, and that. So when you go on the site,
Yeah, what do you search
just
for?
browse,
I'll tell you what I search for.
or you
With you.
search your specific.
I'm always doing different. I can decide to search about tables. If I can decide to search about
On the X
women.
video site.
On the X video.
Yes.
You go look for tables.
When the X videos, I go and look for Fat Nyash.
Okay.
Fat.
Now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell the truth now.
Yeah.
What you laughing at, John?
But
People get lonely sometimes. I get so lonely. Woo, 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 woo.
but the point I'm trying to make,
Yes.
this has been happening from way back.
Yes.
Oral sex has been happening from way back. Only that it hasn't been exposed like the way it is exposed now.
Yes.
Yeah, just like the way this homosexuality and all that. These habits just keep coming up with time.
Right.
And the media, whatever, social media, all that plays a part. It contributes to all this.
Right.
Yeah, because someone, even me, I may not be knowing about oral sex. But when you go to your site, as you're searching for your fat, this porn site will also give you an option of oral sex. And you look, I'm like, oh, now what is this? Let me watch. So in the process, you've gotten to know that, hey,
having-
kumbe all this exists.
A time on that
All right,
site.
let me just say this.
You guys.
Honest-
Or when you're
something.
looking. So story time is so before I met the Lord and I changed my life, which was about 30 seconds ago. My favorite search is Big African. That was before I. So you will see that in X videos, man. You might type in some things to show you something completely different. I ain't gonna get into that, but you know,
Sure.
yeah, it's a lot of different stuff that come up on X videos. But yeah, that does play a and I can say to the president's point of view, just I want to say this because I know this society is not so much open as maybe we are in the West. But to a point, you know, where you have like artists like Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion or some of these women who are empowered to talk about their sexual escapades. They're not podcasts. And people think like, okay, you're in Africa, you don't really take that content in. But there are a lot of Africans that like a lot of different things. For example, I was shocked to find out that like country music is like really big in Uganda.
Country music.
For some people.
For
yes.
some people, like
Yeah.
it's not big that much in the African American community. It's even bigger here than in our community.
It's like more wedding vibes.
Yeah, white gospel music is huge here. White gospel music gets no run in the African American community at all, like zero. Never really see Black Americans listen to white gospel music for the most part. So now these things that you see that are coming up here are people like different things. So people like especially some of these female podcasts that are being a lot more open about their sexuality. And a lot of women, I think, like here are more sexually repressed and can't talk about it. But listening to some of the things that these people are saying, they might not say it, but they're like Cardi B is Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
So they're ingesting this content, but maybe not necessarily saying it. But
Yeah.
so you even see like some ladies from Africa, like let's say for example, I've noticed something. So on Instagram, and I've seen girls rolling their eyes in the back of their head and they're licking their tongue out.
Oh yeah.
You've seen it before.
Yeah, and then it's like some guy's hand on the neck. Yeah. It's like
So we all know what time that is. And that's something that, but we're gonna be real. We like to see that as men. Like that's something that we like. Like we like that look. But that is something that I don't think that really happened here. Although, let's say for example, oral sex is a part of sex in general. But the whole Cardi B thing, that's like roll your bodies and back of your head,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's not something that, you know what I mean? So I think those trends are, so he's right in that. But as far as
You know what?
people get it in here.
I do want to agree with the president. I believe I believe that
That the mouth is for eating.
I do side with the president.
The mouth is for eating?
That the mouth is for eating. But
I want to take it serious, but I can't.
It's not a serious conversation. But out of Brian's serious,
it's not as
did you
serious.
find your
No,
homework
I was saying
on the
I do agree with the president.
that the mouth is for eating?
Yes, where he said because
I think it depends. She may be siding with the president that the mouth is for eating, but maybe we need to ask eating what? Because there's one option of eating food. So which food?
You know you can be prosecuted for that.
Anyway, either way, the mouth is for eating. So if you side with that, then we can conclude.
No, it is for eating.
just let me get my point through before I get distracted. Because before Africans were not doing anything like that, and then
They were not?
no, they were not. They were not using their mouth for that.
How do you know?
Oh, were you there?
No. I'm very sure of this because the generation of Museveni and those older people, they were not using their mouth for that. Their mouth was for kissing, and they're using the other body parts to get it in. But foreigners came through and they introduced them to the other way of life. I genuinely do believe that Africans are not using their mouth for that. And then they learned that, when you're with a foreigner, maybe you need to do this. And to back my point up, there are certain girls that, as girls we talk, when we're going for these shows on the PDS and we're waiting and for whatnot, the girls talk and they say that the foreign men like sex a certain way. So you can't tell me that it has been here. It was brought in.
So let me just say this for everybody outside of the president, right? I don't care if you're 70, whatever. If some woman says, in theory, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to, right? Let's say, for example, how many guys are going to say, the mouth is for eating? No guy! Guy be like, what?
Connecting.
Exactly. Like this.
No, but when you look back at the African traditional society and you look at that way,
Any time period. Nobody gonna say no.
No, but they respected the mouth. Those men were not. I feel like they even had only one style, so definitely there was no oral sex then.
One style? With all of this, that I'm not trying to be offensive, but what I see in Africa, it had to be here 200 years ago. All of this going around here, and you talking about African brothers and sisters in 200 years ago, was just doing missionary?
Yeah, I believe that.
Absolutely not. What?
I wouldn't also agree with that.
You
All of this booty walking
picture
around
the older generation. You think they were doing more than
All that
one?
booty, you think the guys were doing missionary? No.
Come on, man. Be honest. Be serious.
What Joan is trying to say. What Joan is trying
Bam,
to say.
bam, 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 bam.
What am I trying to say?
Woo,
I get your point.
Banange. It's
But
sweet.
then let me just get my point in
Okay.
before I get distracted. My other thing was, yes, the fact that people have been exposed to social media, they're able to see this and they know, oh, maybe this is how we now need to do things, like the new way of doing the deed. But initially, I do agree with Museveni. Initially, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Foreigners brought this
You
in.
cannot say it wasn't there completely. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It might have been there, but at a very tiny extent. You can't tell me everyone has the same thinking as you. Someone
No,
would
no,
have maybe thought,
It's not the same thinking as me. It's just look back. Look at those
yes,
people.
looking back.
No, they were not that liberated sexually.
So you want
for
to tell
them
me
to be
everyone
using their mouth.
was behaving a certain way, like completely?
No.
Everyone was following the same path? No.
No,
There had to
really.
be some people were offside. And maybe for them they preferred it this side, but maybe they're doing it undercover. You get it? Because they know it's not normal. But since for me, I like this woman so much, so I can eat her. You get? I can go ahead and eat her.
We're gonna be
but
real.
I will keep it between me and her.
Yes.
That is all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then with time, as people embrace, even me was been doing it undercover, I come out.
You're really an advocate for this. Anyway.
Yes.
Oshay.
And then, we're trying to be we're not trying to be so graphic because some of y'all got kids. But we're just gonna be real. I'm just from what I've seen in the black world. You about to cry? I know.
I'm done.
Some of the brothers out there in the Pan African world, for however they've been here, you know, brothers have. One thing about black people is we're gonna figure out how to do some things a little different. And one of the things we're gonna find out how to do different, if one of the things we do very well in the black world is sex. That's one of the things that brothers know how to do all over Africa, whatever, and the women too. Look at the way that.
Agreeing.
Let me just say, look at the way that let's say African women, some of them dance. Like anywhere, like if you look at, like I lived in Europe, right? White women don't dance the same way that African women dance. If you look at even African Americans, Jamaicans, let's talk about us anywhere in the world. Most women gonna put that on you. You go dance at the club, first time you meet a guy, they're going to throw the on you're gonna put it right there.
Yes, sure.
First time there.
Exactly.
You have to go to the bathroom sometimes. I'm so old, I don't even play like that. Cause if I go out there, you put your on me, I'm gonna deal with you tonight. So don't even play with me like that. Okay? So I just watch. But they first start off with they put the on you. Boom, 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 right there. That's how they do you. Okay? Don't nobody else in the world do it like that. All right? They put all the cheeks on you. All like that there. You ain't even ready for it. And then, you know what I mean? You're nervous and you have to go in the restroom and make sure you didn't mess yourself. You know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So women know what they're doing. So they've been doing that before he was born. How did these girls start twerking right now? Somebody taught them. They even know how to do it. Not that I've heard this or experienced this, but in the act. They do it while you're doing it, from what they tell me. I'm a Christian. So if you can figure that out, everything else you can figure out. Because how is it that wherever you see Jamaicans and Caribbeans or Ugandans, Nigerians, why do they dance with you like that? Like they want to have your babies right there. And it's so casual. Like, okay, thank you for dancing, and go right on. You're there, dick all down the street. Now, you telling me they ain't been like that? Go to any African village or whatever, national, whatever you want to see. Tell the women to dance. Just don't do nothing else. Tell the women to dance. The men might be jumping up and down, but the women gonna be shaking that ass. Boom, 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 boom. And the brother's gonna be like, I want to stay here.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from, but that's different from oral.
Listen, if they can figure that out, they can figure everything else out.
You know why I'm so adamant on agreeing with
And
the
black
president?
folks got a high sex drive too. They can for hours.
Look at you.
They can't. Anywhere in the black world, black people can like crazy.
Yeah, but you know why I'm so adamant on agreeing with the president? It's because when girls talk, they can clearly tell you that the way foreign men do their thing is not how the local men or African men are doing their thing. Meaning the foreign men are teaching them something
That's true to a certain degree.
that the local men are not teaching them. And then the girls are learning that something and they're doing it the local men. So you see?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing at the end of the day.
What do you mean?
We keep learning. We are learning everything. Everything, most of the things we Africans know and what?
Well,
we learn from the white man. You get?
Not
No,
everything.
it's definitely not a white man. I don't think it's a white man. That
No.
the
Okay, but
president is talking about.
these acts oral sex came from the white man.
You think so?
I
once
feel like
I don't
it's
think so.
another. I think it's another
who
race.
promoted it?
Who are the first people here on earth?
No, first wait. Who promoted oral sex?
Man.
I mean, I see it more in the white man.
As you're on that side,
Yeah.
or in real life.
No, like I told you before, Africans, we never used to know these things.
No, you're saying
So where do
you
we learn
see it
from?
before. Where are you seeing
No.
it?
Where do you learn it from?
Africans can listen. No, black people do all of the same shit in the bed and can do it better. Like I've had before I became, I had a few white women in my life, but the ones I had to run from was the blacks.
So, according to you, we told ourselves.
Those are the ones that beat me.
So, anyway.
They beat me.
At the end of the day,
I had to beg them to stop. And so, you know what I mean? At the height, now I'm old now. You got to catch me on certain days now. I'm old. But in the height of my life, it was the blacks. Please stop. Please, I got to go to work.
and we are
Please.
also in a very conservative society. Ugandans are very conservative.
On the outside.
Ugandan men don't just say, "Oh, I just go down willingly." Do they? Outer sailors.
Now, that depends on the person. You get, there's some people who like it, there's some people who don't.
But you see, it's a few of them. I feel like when you talk to them as men, as Ugandan men, they're not for it. Meaning it was forced onto them.
By who? Because he says we told ourselves. So, Joan, you cannot explain your term?
My word.
You can't explain where all this came from?
What I can say is that they saw it somewhere and they launched it from somewhere. So it
yeah,
was
you can't
brought
say
in.
somewhere.
It wasn't within the society.
Came from where? You can't just say somewhere.
Foreigners brought it in, and then when they taught the locals, the local girls taught the other locals. I'm sorry, I stand by that.
No. Listen, Africa is sexual like crazy.
But not oral sexual.
Every sexual thing is here.
But when it comes to oral,
No, not even me. I'm talking about just talking to other people, like Ugandan guys. Like, for example, I was having an argument before it started with Kuhani. We won't say what it was about, right? I didn't know that certain things was going on, let's say, in Kenya. And I thought that didn't exist. She told me it existed. People, they want to, people are, I think what it is this. It's easy to see somebody in what they want you to see, and you can say, that person is a good person. Or that person is a good person. That person is not a freak. Or that person is, is upstanding. But if you get that motherfucker behind closed doors, that person is completely different.
obviously.
Like I've seen this is true. You can talk to a lady, whatever. But like, let's say if you kiss on her neck or something like that, that person becomes a different individual, like almost very quickly. And you're like, in some instances, you're sad that you did that, because then that person can almost, you know what I mean?
Apart.
Look, you have to understand, like, here, let me just say this. And I think in our country, we have like certain GMOs and things, some of these ladies are in their natural habitat here. Mm-hmm. So once they can get past the part of, let's say, trusting you, but if they really open up and be themselves, I don't think most guys can handle that being an American. Like a African woman's real sexuality in how. I think most men can't handle a woman's real sexual. I think most women's real sexuality is really suppressed as to who they want to be. But if they can be who they really want to be, I think that sometimes women are even more than even men. And most guys just can't take what women really. Most men, 99% of men, maybe even include me, we cannot satisfy a woman's real sexual appetite to a certain extent. So the things that they can come up with, which is why I think there's so much cheating going on with women and men and vice versa. Because women, I believe, they love a guy for certain attributes that he can do. He's a leader. He has a certain level of boundaries. But that guy might not necessarily be her sexual appetite as far as to bringing in out what she wants to do.
True.
And what I believe is that a lot of guys are just scratching the surface, even including me. But most men can't even bring out a woman's true sexual fantasies and things like that. So I think that the whole oral sex thing is just the real surface of what a woman can do. Especially a woman here, you're not eating GMOs. You're a young woman. You're a healthy woman.
GMOs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not like. I think that what they can really do, like, is beyond what as guys that we can actually perform to do.
The way you're explaining, it's like besides oral sex, there's some other supernatural, some other extraterrestrial.
Maybe.
Yes, it's there.
I'm wondering if you're not having sex and if you're not having oral sex, what else are you?
Everything. Things we can't imagine as guys that we think.
Can you float in the air and
they will try
upside down?
Yes. I couldn't build up on. I was a young guy, so I really didn't know very much. But I think a lot of sexuality that women have, us as guys, we are not satisfying them to the level that they're at.
Why can't they communicate as?
They don't want to hurt our feelings a little, which I don't
Why
care.
can't they communicate?
No, like you explain
know
to
what?
me, you want to be tied up or something or thrown on the floor. Like I
In the
need to know.
bushes.
When you tell
We go
me
to
what
the
you
bush,
really
huh?
want, then I can try and do that.
You know what?
You can't do it, man.
We want to hear what Kohani has to say. Just say it.
So when it comes to oral sex in Africa, it was there. It's just that most tribes did not subscribe to it. So it was there in specific tribes. So for example, there's a book we read when we were in school. It's called Facing Mount Kenya. You can go look for it. It's written by the first president of Kenya. It's called he's called Jomo Kenyatta. And there's a part in chapter 16, the chapter is called The Sex Life Among the Young People. So this is the young people of the tribe, which is called the Agikuyu in Kenya. And he says, he's talking about what would go on in the sex lives of young people. So there's a part where it says, let me find it. The Kikuyu do not kiss girls on the lips as Europeans do. Therefore, Gwekwo, which is that act
That's why I love Kikuyus.
that they used to perform, takes place of kissing. But unlike Europeans who are fond of kissing in public spaces, the Gikuyu consider such public displays of affection vulgar. So in place of that Gwekwo is like, you don't kiss on the lips, but you do kiss, but you kiss other places, which was oral sex. So yeah, it was there, but not in all tribes, but some tribes did have it. So yeah.
I love Kikuyus.
Look at me defending my people, and my people were out there eating things.
Everything.
So that's what I was
I'm trying to
you.
tell you. People in Africa can, like, this is the battleground.
This guy is emphasizing.
I've
Clearly, he's
seen
living
it.
his best life.
I've seen the population. Like, I came in 2017. So I've seen Kampala congested. I remember 2017. It is even more congested now.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody was doing some work somewhere. And it wasn't just missionary.
Missionary work or like?
It was doggy style work too.
Oh my God.
And also some of that too.
No, don't show that.
I believe that's what was going on here. And all over Africa. Look at Nigeria. Look at all these people are doing something. These people are having time for this. They got sex parties in Africa like crazy.
Yeah.
You think they go into sex parties and just doing missionary? No.
Oh yeah, there's actually sex parties are happening. A friend of mine received a flyer. A man was inviting her. I think I won't mention the area. And
I've seen videos.
It's naked and feast Saturday type of thing. People out there.
Wasn't
doing the
there
most.
like down the street?
Yeah, a sex party that they raided. Anyway,
Yeah.
clearly.
And I can tell you that they wasn't in there just, hey, how are you doing? My name is Sambija.
Let's go for missionary.
You know, they was in there just it was
guys,
clapping all through that thing.
guys, any last remarks on what our dear president was saying?
I know he's a man of back in the day, so I would understand him. These guys grew up at a time when these things were still hidden and were quite forbidden. But fortunately, he has been able to live and enter in an era where people are having liberty to do what they want. So he should either adapt. The mouth is no longer for eating only, but also eating. Yeah, that's it. The times have changed. The world.
Okay, but thank you so much. Shay?
Like I said, I think like even me at being 41, 40, like, you know, like I'm lost as to the trends that are happening now. Because now I'm not in the current generation. Like I'm outside of, luckily I have young people here who can let me know like what's going on, you know?
Who's going to let you know what's going on?
No,
Yeah?
not like that. I'm a pastor. I'm just saying just in general, like, you know, technology and all that other stuff. But what I will say is this, yeah, it's a lot of, and I noticed when I first came here, Uganda, Kenya, these places are very sexual places. I'm not talking about people just going outside with their clothes off, but you could just feel it. And the person that told me that was African Superstar. She was like, Africa is very sexual. And then I turned around, I'm like, she's right. It is a very sexual. Like, Africa, it's number one, it's usually hot. There are a lot of things going on. It's in America, let me say this before we close. In America, you can get around in doing, let's say if we had this business in America, we would not be so interactive with the community. Because in America, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to go to the buildings. You don't have to meet people. So most people, like in Africa, you can still have friends. Most Americans don't have friends like they used to. Because you don't have to go out and meet anybody. Everybody delivers everything, you know. So interaction is few. Like in Kampala, Blankets and Wines, Tuskerfest or whatever it's called or whatever. So Africa is still one of the last places that you have to get out and actually do things every day. Because a lot of people are not on the internet. So you still get out and get to experience life, right? In America, most people are not like that. So you don't get to experience what's going on every day. But you can't live in this Uganda without experience because most people don't have home internet. So people are still interacting like before for the most part. So with that being said, that's what makes Africa so sexual because it's so social.
Oh, yeah.
Uganda's so social. You go to bars, you hang out with friends, you meet ladies, you see ladies on the boat. You just see people out. In America, you can stay at your house all day, go to the gym and come back and you see nobody. But in Uganda, you're always here, there. You meet people all the time. So that's what makes it so sexual.
Yeah.
And like we went to shout out to Dubai, Market Day. You don't see many market days in America, but you'll see them here. So with that being said, you're meeting people that have different untapped sexual fantasies, male or female, that you'll never know unless you hit a certain level of, let's say, trust with them. Most women are not going to come out and tell you, like, I want you to sit on my face or something like that. I'm just being honest, like just in general.
A woman wants a man to sit on her face.
Like she wants to sit on somebody else's face.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know. It could be the opposite, right?
With time, it will happen. Don't worry.
Yeah, but you know, because women are looked at in a position where they can't really be so sexually objective about their issues, but they can come out and talk about those things eventually, because that's how the culture teaches them. So, but I think those things that, because with the combination of all of that, that's why this place is so sexual. It's so physical. Everything is like you can't send an email to do business in Uganda. You have to meet somebody. The more people you can meet, the more opportunities you have for sex in general. And the more physical contact for sex, the more you have opportunities to try different things. That's why Uganda and Africa have so many kids, because you have so many opportunities. Nothing you can do here is just like in the States, it's email. But here, you can't do business by email. Everything you have to do is in-person thing.
Yeah.
People have to come together here. So that's what makes Africa so, it's in your face, right? Which I like. But I think this whole thing is, I think the West can influence it. But people here, I mean, like you go to these festivals, yay.
Oh yeah, that's different.
I mean, people here are just, there are a lot of ladies, I think, that have untapped fantasies that most of us as guys never have admitted that. It's something that most of us probably can't handle if we were to know what the ladies were thinking about. And a lot of people are thinking about some things that they just can't say. And once they trust you, you're going to find out what they can do. And that's what it is. Most women are not going to come to you and tell you, I like whatever, or I like or whatever. I want to be ate out or something like that. They don't tell you that, right? But as Bobby Blue Blend said, further on up the road. Yeah? And a lot of guys got to understand that a lot of the fantasies that women have here or anywhere, we probably can't. We think we can handle it, and maybe we cannot. But the women are still being more reserved. But that oral sex thing is just the beginning of what they can really do. Because they can, like, black people, again, I'm saying they can, if they can't do nothing else, which they can. Sex is we're the best at in the world. Coming together and fuck, black people are the best in the world. Nobody beats us. Every position, we're the best. But I'm retired because y'all got too much for me. I don't have the energy.
Okay, thank you for your last words. I couldn't take this episode serious. I hope you laugh with us and enjoy it. Outer, where can they find you?
Yeah, all over social media. I use Outer Brand. You can find me all over. And discuss more on this topic.
Can the girls contact you if they want to eat or something?
One last point I would like to give.
What is
the
it?
last one. Like the way we started normally, people have gone into oral. Expect more.
Like what?
The way you're seeing all this type of sex, expect more. The way you're seeing this homosexuality, transgenderism, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked to find people starting to have sex with animals in the nearby future. I wouldn't, like, this is just all the start. As the world turns crazier, expect more. That's what I wanted to point out.
Well, Brian has put his warning out there. Thank you so much for coming here. Guys, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation. If you have any links or stories that you want us to react to, please email us at teamkenganda@gmail.com. Also, if you want to see some beautiful girls, head over to the Pan Africa Dating Show and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.